ladies. When you're in that moment with a man, when you're completely connected and nothing else in the world matters, that's when your words can pierce through every wall he's ever built. You see, ladies, most people think a man falls in love through sex. That's not always true. A man might get hooked by your body, but he stays for how you make him feel during the most intimate, vulnerable moments. That's the truth nobody really tells you. It's not just about moaning and arching your back. It's about what you say when you're right there with him, when you're both exposed. That's the kind of moment where a simple sentence can brand itself into a man's heart and never leave. Because let me be real with you, every man hears compliments out in the streets. He hears women say, "You're fine, you're sexy," or "You got it going on." But very few women speak into a man's spirit while they're physically connected. And I'm telling you right now, when a woman can touch a man emotionally while touching him physically, that's the kind of experience he will never forget. That's the kind of woman he will always come back to. You become unforgettable, not because of what you did in bed, but because of what you made him feel deep in his core. In that moment, say something that speaks to his heart. Tell him, "I feel safe with you." Do you know how rare that is for a man to hear? All his life, he's been told to be tough, strong, to protect and provide. When you tell a man you feel safe with him, especially when y'all are in that moment, you validate all the weight he's been carrying. You confirm that he's doing what a man is supposed to do. And that right there will hit him harder than any physical sensation. Because safety is respect. Safety is peace. Safety is trust. And trust is everything to a man who's been burned, lied to, or used. So when you whisper that into his ear, you aren't just making love. You're connecting on a level that goes beyond the body. Say, "I'm proud of the man you're becoming." Listen to me. That one line right there can break down a man's entire emotional armor. Because no matter how strong he appears, every man has doubts. Every man wonders if he's enough, if he's doing it right, if he's going somewhere in life. And if you, the woman who has access to him in his most private moment, tells him that you see his growth, that you're proud of who he is, not just what he has, that hits his soul. He starts to associate you with peace, with encouragement, with something bigger than pleasure. You become his safe place. And no man leaves his safe place. That's the truth. There's also power in telling him, "I trust you." Now, that might seem simple, but it's one of the deepest things you can ever say to a man. Because trust is fragile, it's hard to earn and easy to lose. And most men don't feel trusted. They feel like they're always being tested, doubted, or controlled. But when you look him in his eyes, while you're connected and you say, "I trust you," it's like handing him the keys to your soul. It's an invitation for him to step into a role of responsibility. You just made him feel like a protector. Like a man with honor. You gave him purpose. That's the kind of moment that rewires how he sees you. That's the kind of trust that makes a man say, "I can't lose her. She sees me." Another powerful thing to say, "I want to build something real with you." When you say that, not with pressure, but with love, you're telling him this moment is not about temporary pleasure, but long-term purpose. You're saying this right here, this connection, it means something that hits differently because every man deep down wants to be part of something meaningful. He wants to know his presence in your life is not random, it's necessary. And when you say you want to build, he starts to see you as his partner, not just his lover. That's when he shifts from just being present to becoming invested. Because men build with women who make them feel like they're needed, like they matter beyond the bedroom. And if you really want to make him remember that moment forever, say this: I love the man you are, not just what you do for me. That sentence separates you from every other woman who ever made him feel used. You're not focused on what he gives, what he buys, or how he performs. You're focused on who he is. That kind of recognition is rare. When a man hears that while he's making love to you, he feels seen in a way most men never feel seen. That level of appreciation doesn't fade. That's the kind of thing that stays with a man through years of struggle, through distance, through distractions. So don't ever underestimate the power of your words in that moment. Sex might grab a man's attention, but words spoken with honesty and heart during intimacy can capture his soul. You got the power to shift the entire dynamic of your relationship just by choosing to speak love, trust, and respect into a man when he's the most vulnerable. Because that's when his heart is open. That's when he's listening, not with his ears, but with his spirit. And when you say the right thing in that moment, not only does he stay physically, but he stays emotionally. That's when you move from being the girl he's sleeping with to the woman he can't imagine his life without. There's a moment when everything quiets down between two people. It's not just about the rhythm or the passion. It's about the stillness that only comes when two people are completely vulnerable with each other. That moment when he's inside you and your bodies are fully connected is sacred. It's where real intimacy lives. Not just physical pleasure, but emotional electricity. It's in that space that your words can reach places in him that nothing else can touch. You don't need poetry. You don't need a script. But what you say in that moment can either pass with the night or echo in his soul forever. You want to make a man stay, then you have to speak to the parts of him no one else does. Any woman can be sexy, but not every woman knows how to be soul deep. When he's inside you, you've got a direct line to his most fragile self. He's not thinking about his job, his problems, his ego. He's feeling. And in that raw moment, if you speak words that match the depth of the connection, you'll stand out in his memory like no other woman ever has, because your words won't be just words. They'll be emotional fingerprints that live in his mind every time he thinks of you. Say his name, not the name everyone calls him, but the name that makes him feel seen. Say it with emotion. Say it like you know who he really is. Don't underestimate how much a man craves to be seen. Men hide. They live behind strength, behind confidence, behind performance. But deep down, every man is asking the same question. Do you really see me? And if you answer that question not with a sentence, but with a feeling, he'll never forget you. Whisper, I see the real you, and I love you right here. That cuts deeper than lust ever could. And if you want to touch a place in him no woman's ever touched, tell him no matter what happens, I believe in you. That one sentence can shift his whole sense of identity. Do you know what it means to a man when someone believes in him unconditionally? That's a language men don't often hear, especially in their most intimate moments. He's used to being asked for things, being expected to perform, being measured, but to be believed in, that's rare. And when you say that while your bodies are intertwined, you're planting something inside him more powerful than physical release, you're giving him emotional security. And that is something men don't let go of easily. Now, let me tell you about the power of reassurance. Not just soft, sweet words, but strong declarations that tell him you are enough. Most men don't feel like they are. They may act like it, they may talk big, but inside, many of them are carrying the weight of never being enough for their father, their mother, their job, or their past. And when you whisper to him, you don't have to prove anything to me. You already everything. That's healing. That's emotional medicine. You're not just giving your body, you're giving acceptance. And that, more than anything, is what anchors a man to a woman. It's not submission, it's spiritual connection. Men don't talk about it much, but they crave emotional safety just like women do. And if you make him feel like the safest place in your world, he'll never want to leave yours. Tell him, this moment right here, it's home for me. Watch how his whole body changes when he hears that. His breath will slow down. His grip will tighten just a little, because for a man, being someone's home is bigger than being someone's thrill. You just move from fun to foundation. And that transition is what creates loyalty, commitment, and forever. When you're in that moment, don't be afraid to let him know he's irreplaceable. Not by begging, not by over-talking, but by letting the truth drip off your lips. Say, no one makes me feel like you do. That may sound simple, but in that kind of moment, it becomes profound, because now you're not just reacting, you're connecting. You're making love with your words as much as your body. That's the kind of intimacy that lingers for years. That's the kind of memory that rushes back when he's alone, when he's struggling, when he's missing you. He won't just remember how you moved. He'll remember what you said. That's how you become unforgivable. Also, remember that vulnerability is power. If you want to go deeper than lust, be brave enough to show your emotions. Let your eyes tear up a little if the moment overwhelms you. Let your voice tremble if you feel something powerful. Men pretend they don't care about emotion, but when they see it in a woman they love, it roots something in them. It softens them. It makes them feel chosen, worthy, connected. You don't have to say 100 words. Sometimes it's one line said with all the truth in your heart that echoes for the rest of his life. And don't forget the power of gratitude. While he's loving you, say, thank you for being here with me. That's unexpected. That's deep. That tells him that you don't just want him, you appreciate him. That speaks to his heart more than any physical act ever could. It makes him feel valuable, important, respected. It's not about pleasing his ego. It's about touching the part of him that needs to feel needed and acknowledged. And when a man feels appreciated in bed, he starts seeing the woman in his bed as the one he doesn't want to lose. So in that sacred space, say something that leaves a mark, not because you're trying to trap him, but because you're showing him who you really are. A woman with a deep heart, a sharp mind, and a soul that doesn't play games. Because when a woman shows up like that, in body and in spirit, there's no replacement for her. There's no forgetting her. She becomes the standard, the memory, the place his heart returns to, even when his body is far away. And when you speak into a man like that, he doesn't just stay. He chooses to. Every single time. There's something unexplainable that happens between a man and a woman when their bodies are joined and their emotions are completely vulnerable. It's not just about the act. It's not just about pleasure or passion. It's about presence. It's about connection. That moment when the rest of the world disappears and it's just you and him, skin to skin, breath to breath, soul to soul. That's when a woman's words can change everything. That's when what you say becomes more than a sound. It becomes a memory, a message, something that attaches itself to the deepest part of him and refuses to leave. You want to know what makes a man stay? It's not tricks. It's not performance. It's not what you wear or how loud you moan. It's what you say when he's at his most open. It's the way you look at him when he's vulnerable and the way your voice softens when you whisper something he didn't even know he needed to hear. It's how you make him feel, not just wanted, but known. That's the part most women miss. Most women think intimacy is all about excitement. But real intimacy, the kind that lasts, is about emotional exposure. It's about speaking to the man beyond the surface, beyond the muscles, beyond the confidence. When he's inside you, you're already holding the most fragile, honest version of him. He might look strong, he might sound tough, but right then, he's wide open. He's listening with more than just his ears. He's listening with his body, his soul. That's when your words can either become unforgettable or just pass through. That's why you don't waste that moment. That's why you don't just repeat what you think he wants to hear. You say what his spirit didn't even know it needed. Tell him, you don't have to be perfect for me. Those 9 words can shift a man's entire heart. Because no matter how big he is, no matter how accomplished, every man feels pressure to live up to expectations. But when you tell him he's already enough, you're giving him a freedom he doesn't get from the world. You become the only place he can take off his armor and still feel like a man. That's not ordinary. That's powerful. Say, you mean more to me than just this moment, and mean it. Let your tone tell him this isn't just a physical thing. It's emotional. You're not just there for a night. You're there because your soul recognizes his. That kind of clarity brings peace to a man. When he knows that he's not just being used, not just being satisfied, but that he matters, you become different in his eyes. You're no longer a fantasy. You're a future. Tell him, you make me feel safe. That line in that moment can hit like a lightning bolt. Because no matter what society says, men want to feel strong. They want to protect. They want to be your safe space. When you tell him that he's doing that for you, you're reinforcing his manhood in a way that nothing else can. You're not flattering his ego. You're feeding his identity. And once a man sees you as the woman who believes in him, who respects him, who trusts him, he starts building a bond with you that's almost unbreakable. If you really want to reach him, look him in the eyes and say, I'm not afraid of your flaws. That one will stop him in his tracks. Because men walk around hiding so much, their pain, their mistakes, their past. And most of them think that the moment someone sees the full picture, they'll walk away. But when you let him know that you're not running from his truth, you're embracing it, you show him a level of acceptance that he didn't even think existed. That's when a man stops testing you and starts trusting you. And there's something so gentle yet powerful about saying, thank you for letting me in. That's not weak. That's real. That's acknowledging that intimacy is a privilege, not a right. That's letting him know you're aware of what it means for a man to give his body and his trust. That simple line tells him you don't take him for granted. It tells him you see the moment for what it is, sacred. That kind of gratitude doesn't just make you memorable, it makes you rare. Sometimes it's about reassuring him of what he's afraid to ask. Say, I'm here with you. I'm not going anywhere. Even if he doesn't say it out loud, every man fears abandonment, rejection, being replaced. And when you say those words in the middle of the most vulnerable moment, you're healing something inside of him. You're telling him that he doesn't have to chase, doesn't have to perform, doesn't have to earn your presence. You've already chosen him. That's peace. That's emotional security. That's what makes him come back even when the world pulls him in every direction. And if you feel bold, speak life into his future. Say, I can see the man you're becoming and I admire him. Now you're not just reacting to the moment. You're prophesying. You're telling him he's not stuck in his past. He's on his way to greatness. You're planting seeds of hope. And trust me, that sticks. A man never forgets the woman who saw beyond his struggle and still believed in his potential. He might lose interest in the ones who flattered him, but he builds with the one who believed in him. Words of power. Especially when they come from a woman in a moment that strips away everything superficial. Don't use that moment to manipulate or to flatter or to get something out of him. Use it to connect. Use it to remind him that even in a world that demands so much from him, he has a place where he can be fully himself and still be loved. And that place, if you speak to him the right way, will always be you. There's a kind of silence that fills the room when two people are joined in that most intimate moment. Not the kind of silence that's empty, but the kind that's full of emotion, of electricity, of everything you feel but haven't said yet. When he's inside you, when his body is wrapped around yours, and you're both moving to the same rhythm, that's when your voice matters more than ever. Not just what you say, but how you say it, why you say it, and whether it reaches him deeper than the physical. Because that's the moment when your words aren't just sounds. They're imprints. They go straight to the part of him that doesn't forget. You see, women underestimate how much power they have in moments like that. Most think it's just about pleasing him or about how good they can make it feel. But what truly stays with a man is not just the way your body felt. It's the way your presence made him feel. And nothing does that more powerfully than the words you choose in that moment when your bodies are one and your souls are standing there quietly, completely vulnerable. If you say something that touches the part of him that rarely gets touched, he won't be able to shake you, no matter where life takes him. To let your words carry weight, not because you're trying to impress him, but because you're speaking from truth, from feeling, from depth. A man might forget the moment, but he'll never forget the woman who saw past his surface, who said something that healed him in a moment of pleasure, who used her voice not to control him or flatter him, but to remind him that he matters in a way he rarely gets to feel. That kind of woman doesn't fade. That kind of woman becomes a memory he keeps locked away, and sometimes a reason he returns. Whisper to him, "You don't have to hide anything with me," and mean it. Because men, more than anyone, live behind masks. They've been trained to be strong, to suppress, to not feel too much or show too much. But in that moment, if you let him know he's safe with you, truly safe, you unlock something most people never get to see. And once he feels that, he starts opening doors to his heart that he didn't even know were still closed. Say, "This moment is real for me." That one line said with honesty can shift the entire energy between you two. He'll know he's not just a body. He's not a distraction. He's not something you're using to fill a void. You're present, fully, emotionally, spiritually. That tells him this isn't just another night, it's a connection, a place he can let go, a moment that matters. And once he feels like he matters to you, during the most vulnerable moment he can have, he'll never forget that. Speak to the part of him that questions himself, that wrestles with insecurity, that wonders if he's enough. Tell him, "I love the way you love me." That's not just about his performance, it's about his effort, his care, his energy. That tells him that you see more than his body. You see his intention, his presence, his effort to make you feel good, safe, wanted. That tells him he's appreciated. And when a man feels appreciated in bed, he connects that feeling to the woman who gave it to him. You just became his piece. Say the things you feel but are afraid to say out loud, because in that moment you have nothing to lose and everything to give. Let yourself be vulnerable too. Tell him, "I didn't know I could feel this way with someone." That's not weakness, that's honesty. And honesty in intimacy is what makes it sacred. He'll feel chosen, seen, trusted, not because you're trying to make him stay, but because you're not afraid to be real. And real will always outlast performance. Let him know that you value more than just his body. Say, "You bring me peace." That phrase will land so deeply in a man's soul because peace is rare. People chase pleasure, excitement, thrills. But peace, that's the one thing most people don't have. When you say that, you become something different to him. You're not chaos. You're not drama. You're not noise. You're peace. And a man will always come back to peace, no matter how far he strays. Because when life gets loud, he remembers the one woman who gave him silence, the kind that heals. Remind him that he's still more than enough. I know you carry a lot, but you don't have to carry it all alone. That line will drop walls he didn't even know he had up. That tells him he doesn't have to be the strong one all the time. That he can rest with you, not just physically, but emotionally. That you're not asking him to fix everything. You're offering him a place to breathe. That kind of woman becomes a sanctuary. And no man walks away from a sanctuary easily. In that moment, your words become part of the experience. They shape it. They give it depth. They turn what could be forgettable into something unforgettable. It's not about being poetic or perfect. It's about being real, being gentle, being intentional. Speak from your heart, not your ego. Say what feels true, not what you think he wants to hear. Because truth connects in ways performance never can. You don't have to say a lot. Sometimes the simplest words land the hardest. I trust you. You matter to me. You make me feel safe. You make me feel alive. Say it softly, slowly, with all your soul in it. Let him feel it. Let him absorb it. Because once a man hears words like that in the middle of deep connection, he doesn't just stay in the moment. He stays with the woman who gave it to him again and again. Not out of obligation, but because his heart found a place it doesn't want to leave.